Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'll be giving you my Euro 2024 Matchday 1 predictions. I did this series throughout the qualifier campaign as well, and you guys really seem to enjoy it, so I figured to bring it back. But this series will be a bit tougher to film since each matchday is going to be really close to one another, so I only want to film matchdays 2 and 3 if you guys are enjoying this series. So all I'm asking from you guys is to hit the like button on this video and subscribe if you're new. Let's try to hit 3,000 likes. And also, if you want to see my complete group stage predictions, I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. In this video, I'm just predicting every scoreline, so let me know your thoughts as always in the comments below what's going to happen in the first match day. Anyway, let's get into it, starting off with the opening match, of course. Germany versus Scotland. I've said this many times, I know, but in 2023, Germany were looking to be in terrible form, so it was looking a bit worrying considering, of course, that they're the host of this tournament, and they should always be considered the favorites, given their incredible history and the quality they have on paper always. Since the start of 2024, though, they have not lost a single match. Their friendlies in March consisted of France and Netherlands, and they were able to beat them both. And then in the recent friendlies, they had to play Ukraine and Greece. They drew to Ukraine 0-0 and beat Greece 2-1. Meanwhile, Scotland had a terrific start to the Euro qualifier campaign, and then, despite qualifying at the end, obviously, since they had such a great start, it did start to crumble. Prior to this last international break, their last win was against Cyprus in September. They failed to beat many teams along the way after that. Of course, some difficult friendlies scheduled, but still, another difficult friendly against Netherlands scheduled where they lost 4-0. Also losing to Northern Ireland following that, who have been in really poor form themselves. And then in this recent international break, they faced Gibraltar and Finland, beat Gibraltar, as they should be, with a 2-0 scoreline, and then drew to Finland 2-2, where they gave up a 2-0 lead. Of course, these are just friendlies and a lot of experiments are being implemented. Scotland was such a terrific rise at the beginning of the Euro qualifiers, it just really has seemed to slow down, and I'm not fully convinced in them beating the hosts. Their key difference maker in those qualifier matches where they were doing so well, Scott McTominay, is now injured. Maybe we can see him return by the time this matchup rolls around, but with or without him, I'm sorry, I just cannot see Scotland doing the job against Germany. Right now, I'm going for a Germany 3-1 victory. I know they haven't scored 3 goals in some time, but I'm going to say they do in their first match of Euro 2024. Moving on to the other match in this group now, Hungary versus Switzerland. Actually, a very tough one to call. Hungary, for many, were considered to be the underdogs of this tournament, as prior to the recent friendlies, they have been unbeaten since 2022 of the Nations League when they came across Italy. However, like I just hinted, that all ended in the recent friendlies when they came up against Ireland. A 2-1 defeat, also conceding a stoppage time goal. But they responded back really well in their next friendly where they defeated Israel 3-0. But another reason why this side are considered underdogs is because they do have some great quality in certain positions. Szoboszlai being the biggest example, of course. In the back line, you got the likes of Orban, Kerkez. Kerkez has had a fantastic season at Bournemouth, his first year in the Premier League. Lots of other underrated players, despite that blow to Ireland. Of course, that was just a friendly, and hopefully it was a wake-up call for the Hungarian national team. Hungary were able to top their Euro qualifier group, and Switzerland were not. Being in what should have been a very doable group for them, they fell short to Romania, conceding way too many goals against teams that they should be clean sweeping. The recent friendlies show that they're playing some calm football. Apart from their match against Estonia, all their fixtures were very low scoring, drawing to quality sides Denmark and Austria, and unlike Hungary, they were able to beat Ireland. And no matter the form Switzerland are going through, it's always tough to judge them in major international competitions, as they always seem to find a way, at least in recent times, to make it to the knockout round. And there's no denying that on paper they are one of the better teams in this group. They have 2 fantastic goalkeeper options right now. We'll never forget what Sommer did in the last Euro tournament, and now Kobel has really been on the rise. He has had a fantastic year with Dortmund and really showed his quality in the Champions League. I think this is going to be a very tight match, and there will be no winner here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. It truly seems doable. Like I said, in the recent friendly, Switzerland drew to Denmark and Austria, and in the Euro qualifiers, they got more draws than wins. So I'm going to say both sides are left a bit disappointed because I think both truly should believe that they can defeat one another, but it does end in a 1-1 draw. Now moving on to Group B, starting off with the massive matchup, Spain versus Croatia. Both sides are definitely looking to kick things off to get 3 points, and both 100% have what it takes, and these sides have very interesting history against one another. In the last Euro tournament, they met up in the round of 16, where it went to extra time, where Croatia nearly completed a beautiful comeback, but Spain won at the end 5-3. In the Euro tournament prior to that in 2016, they were in the same group, and Croatia were able to defeat them. And also recently, they met in the Nations League final, where Spain did win on penalties. So I think most people are going to be banking on Spain on this one, but definitely do not rule out Hrvatska. Yes, the Euro qualifiers, they did struggle a tad bit at moments, but they found their way at the end. And we all know in many instances, Croatia loved to save things till the end in many qualified campaigns. And now in the most recent friendlies, they were able to beat Macedonia 3-0, followed with a 2-1 victory against favorites for many in this tournament, Portugal. Yes, Portugal rotating a lot of players, but still, Croatia were playing on Portugal's soil, and they managed to defeat them. Spain, on the other hand, demolished their opponents in their recent friendlies, but they definitely played much weaker sides. Andorra, one of the worst ranked teams in Uefa, and Northern Ireland, like I mentioned earlier, have been in very poor form. 5 goals apiece in both. With young players on the wings like Yamal and Williams, it's going to be tough for Croatia, but this side also have energetic fullbacks that have what it takes to keep up with players like this. Gvardiol, after his incredible spell at Manchester City, playing at left back, it looks like Dalic is trying to use him there as well. And of course, it's going to be an incredible midfield battle. Both these sides have so much quality in this department. 2 incredible sides, a very tough group to predict. Like I said, I think most people are banking on Spain, but I'm going for Croatia to win this match 2-1. A lot of criticism in the past for Croatia also was that they could not find a reliable striker, but the likes of Budimir and Kramaric have really seemed to step up. Maybe Morata will have a display for himself instead, but I'm going to say that Croatia come off with a very strong start in this Euro campaign, and they're able to defeat Spain in their first match. I know, not the popular choice. I know people are going to say I'm biased, but it's what I'm sticking with. Obviously, this match is too uncertain though. The only thing I know about this fixture is that Dani Olmo will be hugging it out with the Croatians. Anyway, let's move on now to the other match in this group, Italy versus Albania. Without a doubt, Italy are the heavy favorites in this fixture. Albania really got unlucky in this draw, but they should remain hopeful, and Italy have slipped to other nations that they 100% should have been beating in many crucial moments. Albania topped the Euro qualifier group, had friendlies in March that did not go to plan, losing to Chile 3-0, and then Sweden, who didn't qualify for the Euros, but then they bounced back in their most recent friendlies against sides that, I'm sorry, they should have 100% been beating. Liechtenstein 3-0, Azerbaijan 3-1. Italy, on the other hand, in March faced 2 South American teams, Ecuador and Venezuela, beat both scoring 2, and then in the most recent friendlies, they drew to Turkey and beat Bosnia 1-0. Not playing their strongest lineups, of course, but I still think they showed a decent display. Maybe looked a bit dull at times. I'm seeing some people are questioning if Spalletti even knows what the starting 11 should be for Italy, but these were friendlies. But Albania under Salvino have what it takes. Broja also recently got on the score sheet. His form was looking to be in question. All these underrated players that even play outside of Euro pulling through for the team. These guys would be serious underdogs for me if they were in any other group. This one looks to be too tough for me. I don't want to rule them out whatsoever, but I am going to be safe and say Italy grab a 2-0 victory against them. Albania, please prove me wrong. Would love to see it. Next up, Poland versus Netherlands. Now, Netherlands under Koeman looked to be quite shaky at first, falling short in the Nations League final in their own home soil, scraping through some matches they should have performed better in the Euro qualifiers. But now in the recent friendlies, apart from losing to Germany, they demolished Scotland and got the same scoreline against Canada, 4-0. Yes, these are sides that are weaker than them on paper, but still, quite terrific performances. I am recording this before they play Iceland. Not in every single department, but overall, this side on paper is better than Poland. Poland definitely have a more experienced striker. Their goalkeeper in between the sticks, I think, has shown a lot of quality over the years, and also was a massive help to them qualifying for this tournament in the first place during the playoffs. And in the recent friendlies, Poland have revived their form. Under Probiers, they still remain undefeated, which is extremely impressive. But against a strong side like the Netherlands, I don't know, it's going to be a huge tough task for Poland because this group is so difficult. And I'm saying it's going to be an unfortunate result for them at the beginning. Best of luck, Polska, but I'm saying Netherlands grab a 3-0 victory. Next up, Slovenia versus Denmark, a really tough one to call. Denmark are going to be the favorites for many in this, but do not rule out Slovenia. These sides face each other in the Euro qualifiers, where Denmark do have the upper hand there. They beat them once and drew with them as well. But Slovenia have been on the rise since. A lot of fans are very happy that they defeated Portugal recently in a friendly. It also followed with a 2-1 victory over Armenia and then a 1-1 draw against Bulgaria. Obviously, many eyes will be on their striker Šeško, and of course, Jan Oblak between the sticks can definitely keep this match low scoring. Denmark recently have completed 3 Nordic victories in a row. Faroe Islands first, then Sweden, then Norway. And although Slovenia have Šeško, Denmark have Højlund, who always turns up at international level. What a tough one to call. I could see anything happening here. I'm debating to put a draw or a Denmark victory. And I'm going to say Slovenia are able to keep it tight. It finishes 1-1. Denmark are halted a bit. Despite showing that they're scoring their goals against the Nordic countries, I'm saying that they are left frustrated here in their first Euro match. The other match in this group though, Serbia versus England. This is going to be an interesting one, of course. England are the favorites on paper without a doubt in so many fixtures. They have the most expensive squad on paper, yet they still lose to the likes of Iceland. Yup, they lost to them in their most recent friendly 1-0. A country with a population of around 300,000 people were able to defeat England with a combined market value of their squad of over $1 billion. Southgate probably testing things out, sure, but he seems to still have this team looking lost. Many world-class players on that team did not play to their same club level that they have been throughout the season. Serbia, I'm 100% rooting for this side, but their defense is just not strong enough for a side like England, I'd say. Pixie always using that 3 in the back formation, it doesn't really seem to work out. Many times being caught conceding way too many goals. Their recent friendlies included losing to Austria 2-1, but then defeating Sweden 3-0. Clearly the defense finally pulled through there, but it's going to be tough against England instead. And of course, there's no denying that Serbia have an incredible attack and midfield force. So if England play like they did against Iceland, Serbia can 100% take advantage of this side. Serbia should believe in themselves, especially after England's concerns, but I think Southgate is going to begin to figure things out, and unfortunately I think he'll be able to handle Serbia. I'm going to say this match finishes 2-0 for England, but Serbia, definitely rooting for you guys. Best of luck. Moving on to Romania versus Ukraine. Now, Ukraine look to be the favorites to secure second place in this group. Belgium, for many, are topping it, of course. But this match is going to be very interesting as Romania in the Euro qualifiers proved to have a very rock-solid defensive unit. But something that without a doubt concerns me for this side is their lack of goal-scoring threat. Their last 2 friendlies finished in 0-0 draws against sides that they definitely could have been beating. Bulgaria and Liechtenstein. Ukraine, I definitely think, have a better side on paper. Very complete in many positions. Their most recent friendlies finished in a 0-0 draw, followed with a 3-1 defeat to Poland, like I mentioned. I'm going to say that Poland match was a massive wake-up call for the team, and they're able to narrowly defeat Romania. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory for Ukraine. I still see Ukraine progressing to the knockouts, but I think it's going to be a slow start for them because of Romania's incredible defense, and also because I think they're going to start with a bit of a slow pace, but they'll eventually pick themselves up. Let's move on to Belgium versus Slovakia. Everyone is banking on Belgium to be victorious here. But Slovakia are coming off 2 very impressive friendly results, with 2 consecutive 4-0 victories against San Marino and Wales. And with the likes of Skriniar and Hansko in the defense, they can definitely frustrate Belgium. But Belgium are also flying high after the last friendlies, 2-0 against Montenegro, 3-0 against Luxembourg. Sides that they're clearly better than on paper, but they are better than Slovakia on paper as well. Lukaku in the attack continuing his great international form. I'm sorry, Slovakia, I cannot see an upset here, but best of luck to you guys. I'm going to say Belgium get a 3-1 victory. Moving on now to Austria versus France. I've been praising Austria a lot as they've been looking terrific lately. And even after recently in their friendlies, they remain undefeated, beating Slovakia, demolishing Turkey 6-1, then beating Serbia and drawing with Switzerland. Some question marks raised for France since they drew to Canada 0-0. And prior to that, they defeated Luxembourg 3-0. The friendlies prior, yes, they were caught conceding some goals. Before these 2 friendlies where they got clean sheets, they conceded 2 to Chile, 2 to Germany, and 2 to Greece in their last Euro qualifier match. And with Austria's rise under Ralf Rangnick, they definitely cannot underestimate them. I'm going to say Austria put off a fantastic fight, but they are still left disappointed at the end. They lose to France 2-1. Depending on how this match goes, I think Austria would potentially get the upsets later down the road, but not to France. Moving on to the last group, Group F, starting off with Turkey versus Georgia. Not looking too promising for Turkey in their recent friendlies. They topped their Euro qualifier group, yes, but now they lost 1-0 to Hungary. That 6-1 defeat to Austria, like I mentioned. And then they did draw with Italy 0-0, which I guess was a bit interesting, but both teams played very dull there, and also not their strongest lineup. Meanwhile, Georgia only scheduled 1 friendly fixture against Montenegro where they won 3-1, and they're coming off with full confidence as well, as prior to that they were in the playoff round, which is why they didn't play too many friendlies recently, and they did advance over Greece. So Georgia's coming in with full confidence in this, and Turkey might not be. But at the same time in football, we've seen it many times over and over. Whenever you doubt Turkey, they pull through. They also always believe in themselves no matter what circumstance they're in. And one circumstance they're in, despite the previous friendly results, they have incredible quality. Maybe lacking some experience, but still, without a doubt, some ballers in there. I see anything happening in this match. I would not be surprised if Georgia grabbed their first ever Euro victory in their first ever match. And I see this one being a thriller game as well. Loads of goals being scored, an absolute mess from both teams. I'm going for a ridiculous 3-2 scoreline. Turkey win at the end. If we're judging on form, Georgia looked to be in better shape, but I just don't want to doubt Turkey yet. Maybe later on. We'll see what happens after this match. And the final match we're looking at, Portugal versus Czech Republic. Portugal are without a doubt the heavy favorites atop this group, but who knows? Very different squad, of course, but in Euro 2016, they should have topped that group and they finished 3rd place. And Czech Republic in the last Euro tournament were incredible. Patrick Schick could have a phenomenal start and surprise the Portuguese. I'm recording this before they play Macedonia, but the match prior to that, they demolished Malta 7-1. Under their new manager Hasek, they've been doing very well. Seemed to be somewhat risky appointing someone so late, but it seems to be paying off as well. They're playing a lot more convincing football, but again, this is Portugal. Portugal topped their Euro qualifier group flawlessly, and their recent friendlies have been quite questionable, losing to Slovenia, beating Finland 4-2, and then losing to Croatia 2-1. So we could see a slip here from them, and I definitely see them conceding in this match, but I still think Portugal will be victorious at the end. I'm going to go for 3-1. Very strong Portugal side. We'll see if those friendlies threw them off too much, but I think they have what it takes to defeat Czech Republic in their first match. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are all of my Euro 2024 Matchday 1 predictions. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you do want to see Matchday 2 predictions as well. If I upload Matchday 2, I'll revisit how I did on this video. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you all very soon. Best of luck to your country at Euro 2024. Take care. La Conoce.